Good evening, everyone. I am the feeble host, Mr. Brad Chester, and we had one of our co-hosts apparently camera die as we went live, but that's okay because that's how we like it around here. I am currently on my deathbed, so I am putting Tom's cow suit and the cow from ATC as my face today. And I mean, all I want everybody to look at is the beauty of the cow suit. Tom's going to be in that. He is guaranteed that he'll wear it for every tournament the entire year. I may or may not be wrong about that. I mean, there's 50-50 chance I'm right, so it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, I am Tom, and I am the wearer of this beautiful cow suit for exactly one day at Adepticon. Brad's full of shit. And we are joined with...
I am Steven. I am the inducer of the cow suit for Tom's enjoyment at Adepticon.
Yeah, you are. But the funny thing is, while we're on this topic, kind of funny that didn't want to double or nothing that bet in our Friday night fights coming up, did you?
Oh no, you are completely correct, because I would hate to make you wear it for 2 days in a row during the team tournament. It wouldn't be fair to the rest of the environment. They need to see you in your captain's jersey repping DOG until we get a DOG cow suit made, which needs to happen eventually. But for now, I was satisfied with.
So excited now because we're going to have a DOG cow suit. How many of them can we have?
I don't know. This escalation will continue.
Is there going to be like a daddy cow suit and a mommy cow suit and a little baby cow suit?
I mean, we can get a little baby cow suit for you, Brad.
I'm down. Oh man, we just went into a nipple cam right there for Brian.
Yeah. Sorry, my computer just decided it didn't want to work for a minute, so I had to hop over to my iPad.
Sounds good.
Fair enough. Have you tried?
God, hold on. What is Gil's got it? I hope you're not too ill, Brad. I don't want your life in this cow suit to go flashing past your eyes. Oh, fuck. That's going to be hard to beat, everyone. Setting the bar high in the beginning. Ooh.
Yeah. But while we wait for Brian to get his camera fixed.
I might have to retry something here. I'll be right back.
All right, super high tech today.
He's going to stretch. He doesn't want to pull a hammy.
Well, let's talk about our weekend. So, Brad, how did you do? How was your weekend?
My weekend? I don't even remember where I was. I did some practice games this weekend, and it went successfully, and I'm very excited about the meta right now, which is what we came up with to even talk about, our main thing today, which my practice will go into what I thought about the meta, to be honest with you, because it's very exciting for me. You know, it's not exciting. Are you going to make me go into the topic for today? Is that what's happening? Are you segueing me?
No. Let's get into the topic a little bit. Let's talk about our weekend first. Let's bring it off the topic. So you had some practice. What did you practice this weekend?
I put wolves on the ground. We played a couple games. We were over at Sniggs' place. We had some Metacrew TTS games going on, which was pretty fantastic. I really love talking through games. I realized a while back that I actually like talking about 40K more than I even like playing 40K. I like to be involved in a game while it's going on. My favorite type of game is 3 hours of basically arguing about first turn. That probably is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I had a pretty fun weekend. Saturday, we basically had a community day for our Patreon users, and we pretty much, I think it was like 10 hours straight of just practice games. Most of them was Brenton playing, and I think Teddy from our Patreon crew tells me the memory of me yelling at Brenton for literally doing exactly the same thing back-to-back games. So he played the first game, and I was like, no, don't do it like this. And the very next game, I think he was playing against you, Crowley, right, when he did that?
You and then me twice, yes.
Yeah. And then he just, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Michael. But just to watch him deploy back-to-back games, I was like, what are you doing, Breton? Did you not pay attention to, I guess, it was pretty funny. Teddy liked it. Everyone was talking about it, so it was good. It was a good weekend. Good practice games. We're gonna start doing this a lot more often. Having community days where just got the coaches on there and we're playing games against each other. Or what I want to do in the future is have the community play with us. And basically, what seems is going to happen is when we do these, we'll get one of the players play against the coach, and the whole game the coaches are just going through there and giving opinions and what we think, and that way you guys kind of see our mindset. And what's really cool about it is that we're not to trash any other organization at all. This isn't what this is meant to say, but we're very different. We strive off of community engagement. We love it when our community talks to us, when they get involved, not just like super chatting or something like that. Not saying anything bad about anyone else, because guess what? Those guys do it well, and everyone who does that. But we love it when players get involved with us. So it was really good. And I am quite confident you will see pictures of me in the cow suit. There's Johnny 5. That's Johnny 5.
Super Greg Johnny 5.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee you Crowley and Brad will take lots of pictures, and it'll be all over our next stream after Adepticon of my fat ass in this cow suit. But that was my weekend. Crowley, tell us how your weekend was, brother.
My weekend was fantastic. Brenton is one of my teammates for Kansas, and we elected to do a couple of practice games over the weekend. The rest of the group of me playing guard into him, because that's one of the matchups that he's concerned about right now, went fantastic. Learned a few things. If anybody doesn't know, setup 3 for guard is a little rough. It's high damage Tau, so be ready for that. But other than that, it was good. Also, public service announcement to anybody who's going to be playing on GW Train. On layout 3, the middle rectangle is not obscuring.
Shit. Holy God. We got to give a quick shout out to Lyle on that one. We literally, the best is Crowley and I are chatting out a plan for his game. We're like, we should go here and here. And finally, Lyle just goes, hey, man, that's not obscuring. We're like, shut up, Lyle, you idiot. Like, of course it is. And he just sends a picture and goes, no, it's not. And we're like, well, that original plan we made is stupid.
Everything went out the toilet immediately.
It's basically a forest, basically, right?
No, it's a the actual thing I reached out to a friend of mine that works at GW, and the actual item itself is a ruin, but it's supposed to be like Swiss cheese with multiple holes and gaps.
And no obscuring keyword.
And
apparently Brandon Valley will also be taking pictures of me. So there will be plenty of pictures of me in the cow suit for those who wants to see it. I ain't no chicken when I make a deal. I'll hold my deal.
You're clearly a cow.
Yeah. I'm a cow.
Just try to make double or nothing bets over and over and over again to get out of the original.
No. I just like betting. I will always bet, and I'm very confident. So, and also I like to expose your non-confidence.
Oh, is that what you're
doing? Yeah, because I'll even make you do. I'll play you a game this Friday. If you win, I'll wear the cow suit the entire weekend. If I win, you got to wear the cow suit with me.
I will literally be master blastering this game. We're gonna Wonder Twin Powers this game up so I can get you on that cow thing.
No. But the thing is, what would be more funny? We wear it all weekend, or Crowley also has to wear a cow suit. I wouldn't even take myself out of it, but Crowley have to wear one with me.
I'll make you a deal. Okay. If you win, then I will wear the costume at Kansas City.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna be at Kansas City.
ATC deal. Oh, especially since I'll be on a different team than the main team. That'll be fun.
And if you win, I also have to wear the costume for a day at ATC.
But no, because you're challenging me again after you've already lost a bet for it. You have to wear it on day 3 of ATC. I can pick my day. You have to do it on day 3 when you're on final tables and possibly on stream.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, War Games like so put Tom in a cow suit on stream.
I know. This is an independent bet of the Adepticon one. It's completely separate.
Yeah. I don't need to get all that. I'll wear it. The thing is, you understand that, and Brad can test. I have no shame. I have literally told people to their face what I thought of them, and Brad's had to tell me multiple times, don't say that. I literally made Brad. You remember the Toledo game room story? Yeah, so I don't care. But
It's fun to watch someone run out of a room.
I have no shame, brother.
I literally played Chief Negotiator for. We're not going anywhere near this. I'm going to do a 2-second on this. I'm like, I literally handle it with kid gloves. Everything's good. Tom effectively just gives me the "this is Sparta" kick to get me out of the way and goes, "Let me read you my freaking manifesto about all the things that I'm upset about." I was like, I've already done this, worked it out, Tom. He's like, nah, I ain't going out like that.
I literally looked at somebody and was like, listen, I don't like you, and this is why. And the kid just looked at me like, what? And I just went on there. And Brad's like, we can always talk about this later. No, we're not going to talk about this later. We're going to talk about this right now. But anyways, before we get through there, and my defense, and Brad can contest this, the kid was talking a bunch of shit.
We're not going. As always, no. As usual, we set a line. You freaking Olympic jumped over it. Move on.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back in just a second, guys.
All of our friends watching and everything, hit that like button and ping Tom if you want to hear the rest of the story. But you have to.
I don't want to talk the rest of the story. We're gonna move on. Let's get into the topic for what we got into. Looks like we lost Brian again, but
here's the deal. I'm going into the topic because again, we had leagues, we had GSC, we had Dark Angels, we had Demons, we had Harlequins, we had Orcs, we had Guard, all win tournaments over the weekend. I do not want this little space of awesomeness that is the meta right now to go away. And I feel that we are a couple tweaks away from being in a unicorn land. And I love me some unicorns. So I really am worried that we're going to get the meta to the perfect spot. And then they're going to release 10th. And then we're just resetting, man. And then the problem is that, and let's be honest, all new additions are going to be horrible, unbalanced pieces of shit because it takes a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't have books out. You don't have all the rules out. You start a lot of times. I don't know if we're going to be playing Index Hammer or what we're going to be doing at that point in time, but like it will be a pretty big jump into a cold waters if we go from the best meta we've had in 4 or 5 years to holy shit.
I don't want to agree with you and say the best meta we've had in 4 or 5 years. I think it's the best meta I've ever played in.
Oh, yeah, true. That's what I'm saying. It's at least the best meta in 4 or 5 years. Since we had, and I'm not counting a lot of the things because I count 8th and 9th as basically, 9th is basically 8.5. You know what I mean? So we're for this edition as a whole, including 8th and 9th together, this is by far the best we've had as far as rules and parity in lists right now. You can literally show up with almost any faction and you have a great chance to win. And I am terrified of two things. One, I don't want them to mess too much with the data sheet. So you always have that worry. But man, I'm super worried about if we get 10th. I mean, see how long it took them to get to where we are right now, man. And it'll probably make them take that long again, to be perfectly honest. It takes a long time, especially when you're doing a new edition, because you don't get that mass of games played right away, and even their testing and stuff.
Yeah, and I just have a hard time believing that they're going to hit the full reset button. I know a lot of people are saying there's Index Hammers coming, and there's a lot of verified sources or trusted sources that are saying it. I just have a hard time believing that, just because if you look at the way the last couple of codexes have been written, they're written in a very different way than they were at the beginning of this edition, and it feels like they're prepping for a new style of codexes. Like, we went from the beginning where everyone, you had your base trait and you had all these different things you could do and, supplements and stuff. And now we get to where we look at the guard codex, it's completely different. We look at demons, very different. War leaders, very different. They're not all like the first X amount of codexes all had the same stratagems. Everyone could take an extra warlord trait. Everyone could take, an extra relic. Now, you're getting differences. You're starting to see some real changes and some unique things coming through. And I just think them to write the codex in that way, just to reset it a few months later, just it's a massive waste of resources. Yeah, I know GW done it before, but when they did all this, they didn't have the GW coming back in the competitive scene. They didn't care about the competitive scene at that time. Now they've invested heavily in the competitive scene. You have the GW Open Series. Not to mention, if they do an index hammer, they're basically resetting the season in the middle of their season, where their first time they're trying to legitimize it. It just doesn't seem plausible to me, and I could be completely wrong. I just don't see it.
I hope not.
I completely agree with you, Tom. I think that Index Hammer is they've done Index Hammer twice in my recollection. There was the change from 7th to 8th, the change from 2nd to 3rd was Index Hammer, basically.
100% was, I think, when we went from 4th to 5th, we had a weird situation because I think that when we went into 5th, we had an explosion too, because they blew it up. They went 3rd and 4th. 4th was basically 3.5, and 5th was completely new everything. So I don't remember if we used any of the codex, but like most of the codexes wouldn't have worked, you know what I mean, at that point in time.
Leaders decks, we know that they're going to be going to a model that's similar to that, where warlord traits are basically assigned on a character basis and stuff like that. It's completely so alien to the rest of the books, and it's the most recent, theoretically through rumor mill. Not that I know anything in particular that was play tested, right? So it makes the most logical sense they're going to move to that model. And also, I think we also have a habit / history of them adopting things from AOS. Like AOS is their testing bed, and they take the parts that they like and then bring that over, right? There's a lot of elements right now that they have a very difficult time balancing, like secondaries, right? Like you took away the secondaries from Necrons by like an inch and took away core from the Silent King, and they went from like high 50s, mid 50s down to a 32% win rate. Like that is the most delicate balance of a knife, and I don't think they want to maintain that.
I don't know though, but the thing is that keeping everybody in that super sweet spot of 48. I mean, if it was up to them, every army would be 48 to 52% kind of thing. And it's very hard to get into a meta where we are right now. So I don't know. And the thing is that I think that they're in the end, GW sells models. I mean, they're a company for profit. You know what I mean? So they have to put out new shit that you want to buy. That's why we get codex creep and everything else. I actually think that the last couple codexes were actual winners because they didn't feel unbelievably OP. They have a couple things like Casterkins and multiple units, but like as a whole, all of these armies feel very, very strong, but they didn't feel like they just invalidated the thing that came before them. Like when we had the original Tau release and it effectively said you're not allowed to play GSC, like that, we haven't had any of that.
I mean, that's disingenuous though. The Tau meta was good, but it came out at the same time as Custodes, and both and Custodes hung.
And Harlequins.
Yeah, and Harlequins were doing well as well at the same time. That the Thousand Suns were able to play into that meta pretty effectively.
Those are all like way apart, dude. Like literally, we had.
I'm talking about Cherokee, where I played Thousand Suns.
No, yeah, I'm saying when the Tau book first came out, you know what I mean? It was ridiculous. So
Cherokee's launch, I was there. I got beat by Harpster playing Tau.
That army was good.
Was very, very good.
Also when we had the index hammer, while it was balanced, it was very like one-sided.
It wasn't. It was trash fire, dude. Because index hammer didn't have the rule of 3 also, so we just had mass spam of everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It technically was balanced in a sense where everyone was on almost a level playing field, but the thing is, like I said, it was 1 or 2-sided. You had 1 or 2 of the same army everywhere, but everyone was just playing an army. Like Marines ran rampant, And I just, it seems very alien to me to have something that you put a lot of work in. You brought in Mike Brandt, you brought in all the GW staff to fix this competitive scene, and then just to blow it all up just seems like dumb.
There's no way they can't blow it up. It makes zero logical sense to blow it up. with what you're saying, with the fact that the meta is, for the most part, really, really solid. They've put a lot of effort into the ITC and the GW Opens to make it balanced, fair, to have some clear-cut competitiveness to it. With them, I don't want to say trying to make it an esport, but on the verge of making it an esport, they would be silly for them to blow up the entire rule set.
I will remind you that this is the same team that also invalidated the Votan Codex before it launched based upon strong feedback from the community without any data. And Votan has never fully recovered from that because of that. And this is not a consistent thing that we haven't seen them. They overcorrect, right? So, and they're also been consistently 3 to 4 months behind. So they're probably still, while we see MetaWatch articles that are currently up to date, the rules team seems to be consistently far behind. So I don't know. I think we're going to see a dramatic change, maybe not in the actual rule books for the codexes, but in the actual core rules that are going to fundamentally change the way that we play the game to dislodge that balance, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see core rule changes. In particular, like terrain would be my biggest takeaway, and perhaps the return of a few universal special rules to make things a little easier. So not everyone's quote unquote feel no pain is, a different name, or everyone's deep strike's a different name, but it'd be something to see.
It wasn't 7th edition that had the index where basically everything was actually a defined term that was great, and we were wanting more individuality from units at that point, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
that was a big chunk of it. Was there were the universal special rules was a chunk in the main rulebook. You always had to have your main rulebook with you. And there were some of those universal special rules that were kind of obscure. They weren't used a lot, and when you got caught by them, it was always a kind of a gotcha moment. And some people didn't like that. I actually thought it was really nice, because if you had an ability to ignore wounds, it was called Feel No Pain. And it was 5 up for everybody, and not a 5 up here, a 6 up here, a 4+ here, so on and so forth, this, that, the other thing, with different names. Everyone still refers to most of the ignore wounds as, I have Feel No Pain 6+. Or I have Deep Strike, not Terror from the Deep, or Manta Strike, or Teleport Strike, or whatever the name of it is.
No, yeah, I agree. I just know that when you think about it from a business perspective, like Brad was saying, codexes and rule books are literally the most profitable thing that GW sells. There's like absolutely nothing. You can print and produce a book for like cents on the dollar compared to a plastic kit with the amount of cost that goes into design process and everything.
The amount of money that they spend on layout, digital art, physical art. I mean, yes, they do reuse a lot, but the amount of money they spend on that, the quality of the paper they use, the quality of the binding, the fact that they now print books in China and the US so as to meet demand based upon the global economy, tells me that they're not making a huge profit on it. They're a nice chunk of change every time they release one, but typically most books get released 1 every 3 years. It's not that profitable. And the fact that they have to forecast, because they try to do only 1 printing of a book until they sell out, and then they have to gauge.
GW.
Go ahead, kids. We're back online.
We're back online. Brad Chester fell asleep at the wheel, everyone.
We were just trying to shake the Inquisitor real quick.
Yeah.
You guys didn't let me talk for long. It was too long without me talking. I was just like, fuck this stream.
I've lost interest off my favorite topic, which is me.
So I gotta say that although yes, printing money in dice are, or printing books and dice are big money for GW, the backbone of the company is the model kits, and that's where they end up making consistently over time their most profit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The
fact that you look at some retailers, and you can look at sold eBay items for people to really just track. Like one of the big eBay retailers right now sold, I want to say it was somewhere over 380 sets of Exalted 8-bound. Now you got to think that's people buying on eBay and then you compound that with every retail store, GW's own insane profit when they sell direct to somebody. It just their kits are going to sell forever.
Right, but
The
it's
thing
that
is-
sense of why you wouldn't want to stay in a meta, even if as absolutely perfectly balanced as it is becomes stale, because they release a new book with a new kit. That new kit is now the backbone of the entire faction, and literally almost every player is now instantly buying.
But you can do that with codexes. You don't have to do that with an edition launch.
The thing is, though, the reason why I just don't see it, like, and to expand on what I said earlier, like, yeah, I agree with you, Brian. The backbone of their money making, the backbone of their company has always been their models, and they have started making some gorgeous models, right? Some of the best models we've ever seen them do has come out recently. But at the same time, they're investing for the first time, at least since the first time I've been in the hobby into the competitive side. Like, they brought in Mike Brandt, and they brought in Justin Curtis, and a lot of other big names, people that have full-time jobs there now. And they're growing. Like, look what they're trying to do with the GW Open Series. They're legitimizing the competitive scene and turning it into almost an esport. And I don't see them putting that much investment and then changing the season midway through. Like, because if they don't make the right change, if they make a change that nobody likes and it's off the rails and it's unbalanced, it ruins this hardcore investment they put into the competitive scene.
100%. I mean, I can see them going right now, this summer, we're relaunching the Tyranid Codex, the Space Marine Codex. Here's new codexes for these two armies. Yep, not a problem. See it, because you can give them new Marine models, which almost everyone owns a Marine army. Very, very few players don't own a Marine army. So therefore, every thing you release, if it's a troop, people might buy 6 units of it. If it's anything else, they're buying 3. Great, that's printed money. Tyranids, they haven't gotten a lot of new models in the last number of years. Bam, new kits, new models, new money, new sales. And then you can just keep doing that. And guaranteed they throw another new faction in the mix, which is just inevitably someone who is either a meta hopper, buys it, or someone who's just a faction lore junkie. Like, if they release Dark Mechanicus tomorrow, I would be the first one at my store going, all right, I need to buy and I need to get, because I love their lore. I love everything about them. And I'd be all over it. I wouldn't even personally care about the rule side of things. I would just buy the models. It would be awesome.
Real quick, while we're on this topic of Dark Mechanicus, have you guys looked at the new models for Vash?
Oh, that's a landmine.
So the model is gorgeous.
Especially
If he was
his army rules
so
are actually
if he
boss
was
mode.
60 to 80 points cheaper, he might see some competitive play.
Make
But
him
right now, I just don't see it.
make him 9 wounds instead of 14 wounds. He'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Out, sir, then he is amazing.
Or if he just got something, if he had a unit, and maybe they're planning on putting that out, to be honest, because if he had a unit similar to Tyrant Guard that gave him Look Out Sir, like bodyguarded him, he would still be. His aura abilities are fantastic. His army's also good too.
Yeah, but the thing is he has to pick one in the command phase. He doesn't get them all.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, he's actually useful. The army is useful. He's just hot trash for what he is, because he's a 14 wound, easily killable guy.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I hate chaos as fluff. Give them all the trash shit, please. Nothing makes me happier to get put on top of the chaos guy and just to wipe their mouths up. Like, the quicker the game, the quicker they are to maybe switch off that trash fluff. I love it. Love every moment of it.
His fluff is also pretty awesome, and like the whole story of everything going on with him is super cool. So I would like him to be more playable. It's just I enjoy the fluff. So I really like when they have characters that are part of the continuing story arc be on the board.
Your bitch ass would like his fluff, wouldn't you little traitor?
First Army Chaos.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a for you.
I mean, it would be really neat if they did something like Demon Engines gave him Lookout Sir, because then he could walk up with the Demon Engines. That would have been a really cool rule for him. That would have been kind of neat watching him, toddle up behind, was it Mauler Fiends?
Yeah,
It has to be a specific model. It can't be all demon engines.
Yeah, but Anna makes a good point in that. Like, half of this, more than half of his lore is like them talking about how, like, literally he's reanimating shit, like fixing stuff around him, and he has no repair ability.
Yeah,
love it. I love the fact that I take more. I think he has too many rules. GW hike his points up 100 more points. make them 10 wounds, not 9. Make them 10 wounds. No bodyguard units. And you know what? Also make a rule that when he takes damage, instead of -1 damage, it's +1 damage. And then we're happy.
I honestly think that part of the reason that we're probably moving towards 10th edition too is I think that GW wants to standardize terrain in a new edition.
I think that's going to be the focal point. I think Brian hit it right on the head. Make them it's going to be about the terrain. I think
couldn't they do that with a GT pack?
No.
Couldn't they say with one of the GT packs because they put the core rulebook in the GT pack. Just change the terrain rules and say here's the standard layouts for grand tournament rules.
Here's the problem. Only approximately maybe 3 to 4% of the entire player base plays competitive games.
Yeah.
You have to release a new edition because none of them will buy the GT packs or the rule books or anything like that. They're all going to stay with the core rule book, that one fancy Indomitus book that everybody has 10,000 copies lying around that it's holding up a coffee table somewhere, right? They stick with that because they still just play in their LGS and they have a really good time enjoying the core rules. They still play out of their codex without even looking at a data slate. Some of them still wonder why Tyranids are the most OP faction in the entire game, right?
The thing is, I also think they have some rule like overlay and some things they want to clean up and the data slate and things like, some of these nerf splitter like flyers can't start on a board and then direct. They don't want to have that in every single data slate. So I think it's time that they can clean up some of these changes, put on more implement, maybe clean up a few mechanics. I think that's what they want to do. And I'm hoping 10th edition is 9.5 because 9.
Couldn't you just do that with a basic rulebook update? Say, hey, we've updated the rulebook. Here's the new rulebook. If you just want the rulebook, here's a mini rulebook to buy. Here's a collector's edition rulebook to buy. Or if you're a GT player, here's the GT packet with the update.
Or you can put it as a new edition and make money off of it. And that's what they like doing, making money.
The box with Dark Angels versus Tyranids, and it sells out so hard like Indomitus did, where literally they have to take special orders for 4 months. And yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that picture kind of, gave me a little chubby. As I was seeing the Tyranid eye with the Terminator in it, I was just like, oh, that doesn't look like a typical Tyranid face. Yay, new model.
By the way, Brian, just put me on the list now. I want an early box. People tell you I want to be number 1, please. Just put it there now. Or number 2 right after you. I don't care. But
yeah, I'm always number 1 in my own heart, so we're all good.
Yeah, so number 2 then, please.
Man, I don't even remember. I remember some people buying 5 Indominus boxes because the Indominus models were just that cool. They wanted to run Max Blade Guard and everything.
Brad, do you remember when we showed up to a tournament when nobody can get them, and DOG bought 30 from our sponsor?
Yeah.
I loaded into a GT with 30 of them, and people looked at us like, "Are you nuts?"
Yeah,
we were handing them out for prizes. People were like, "This is the best thing ever."
Actually, I want to go. Hold on, guys. I want to go to this because before we move on from the subject, because Anna put out something great. The quote, whatever. I'm just gonna read it. I wish they had stuck harder to that. It isn't 8th edition. It is Warhammer 40K. It's a living document thing. I would love that. It's just as the rules change, we change. And the season thing is a thing too. I actually like the idea of seasons. I like that a lot. We didn't do a whole lot with it. But I would have loved I would love to see in the future when we do a competitive season, they can try things out, because if they completely fucking shit the bed, well, we fix it in the next season. You know what I mean?
I mean, AOS does that. I know I harp on AOS, but I've been dabbling recently. AOS does that really well, where each competitive season they change the focus of that season, where like Galatian champions, I don't know the terms but very well, but they change basically the focus to being monsters or infantry, and it actually changes. So like a faction without getting a book can go from 0 to hero, because now Galatian champion monsters are the thing, and now it's like Tyranids are like, yeah, I got monsters. I got lots of monsters. Don't you worry about it, right? I think that would actually work really well for us in the long run.
I'll tell you the one thing I'm excited about 10th edition though, is we're getting another Primarch baby. I've been saying this for how many years now, Brad? I think it's bullshit that Chaos has like 3 Primarchs right now, and we got 1 finally getting one. I hope we go on a Primarch run and we get another 3 before Chaos gets another one. It ain't gonna be Lehman Russ. Everyone knows it's gonna be the Lion, but I would love to have Lehman Russ. I know Brad's totally rooting for his favorite Primarch, and that's Dorn. But you know what?
Got a
Dorn-
guard tank. At least,
Dorn,
right?
the 21st ranked Primarch.
He's so badass. He's number 1 and 21st in Brad's heart.
That guy sucks so bad.
He doesn't suck. He gave birth to the Black Templars.
Yeah, they're literally on a crusade to try to shake the shame of being from him.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Dorn's a badass. Brad knows it. Brad just jealous.
Jesus.
You know what?
So how butthurt would everybody be if it wasn't the Lion and it was just Luther?
Oh God.
Probably quit playing 40K.
Luther did nothing wrong.
Luther's a fucking traitor. That's what he did wrong.
And sometimes you got to blow up your home planet, then put rockets on it and drive it around. That is some orc shit right there, dude. That is serious orc shit.
I think it's actually really cool that like this whole theme they have come up with Vash, like it makes it seem like they're going to be assaulting the Rock, which is pretty cool. I don't know, guys. I'm excited to actually read that fluff.
Oh, I'm very excited to read the fluff.
It's always good to see some chaos on chaos action. You know what I'm saying?
The competitive book worries the heck out of me because I'm still salty that I can't use Book of Rust anymore, and it's in the same edition. I didn't even get a full edition out of that freaking stuff.
Weak. I do like.
I didn't get Crusher Stampede, but for like a month and a half, it felt like so.
Hey, it was up until their Dex release, and it was illegal at LVO. It was a big deal because they actually did really well at LVO. Lennon can attest.
They did.
Yo.
A Nid's Primarch? Oh, I'd definitely quit the game too. Then if a Nid's got a Primarch, like a made up Primarch before Marine's got another one, I would just quit.
You didn't see? They're getting the Alpha Swarm Lord, which is their version of a Primarch. Let's go.
He's plus. Pro plus.
Pokey pokey.
He's a Swarm Lord that did not skip leg day.
He's a Swarm Lord that gets a verbal info.
He gets giant swords and lash whips, 2 of each.
Yeah, we bought this actually about
Let's go.
I don't know. I don't the artwork they showed though. Did you guys see that? The artwork where it shows like Azzy fighting and Vash is like getting his ass whooped. I'm like, that's gonna be the scene like right before the Lion wakes up.
All I know is I want to see Azrael's 80s montage video because he's all beefed up now because he got beat up and he's like, oh man, I'm scared. What am I going to do? He's basically doing a Rocky 3. Let's do this, baby.
You're the best around.
I don't know. Do you guys remember that first like Indominus book when Gilliman like woke up? That was a sweet book. Like I loved it, and I don't even like Ultramarines. That book was so awesome. Like how Gilliman like wakes up, is like, "What's the hell's going on here?" And he like just takes command, and like the Ultramarines are like falling back, get their ass kicked. He's like, "This is Roboute Gilliman," and taking command, and everyone's like rallied. I don't know. That made me an Ultramarine fan reading that book, and so it'd be kind of cool to see something similar for Dark Angels, for a faction I'm already a fan of.
Or you could have Lehman Russ drunkenly walking out of the Eye of Terror after a 10,000 year bender and start wrecking stuff. What sounds better?
Not gonna lie, Russ.
Exactly.
Us walking out tainted by chaos, that'd be fantastic.
And he refuses to accept that it is because he doesn't understand it. Because he is clearly one of my favorites, but also clearly the dumbest Primarch by far. Russ is a badass. Not that hard to fool him. I'm pretty sure they went this way, Russ. I'm gonna go get him. I just assume that the entire Space Wolves are just a crazy biker gang.
So who could you see coming out besides the Lion?
Ross is coming back. We know that already.
I was, if you 2 years ago, I would have literally put money that Russ was coming out. We had that big thing of the Woofing and everything else. The 13th Company literally went with him. So when all that stuff was slated to come out, I thought for sure they were going to be releasing Russ.
Also, we seen spoilers for Vulcan. It was like 2 years ago now, was it?
Yep.
When they actually had his rules and sort of leaked through sources. So I think you're going to see Vulcan. I think you're going to see Ross. You're going to see the Lion. Those are the big three. It's been hinted for a while. And then they've also put, if you read like the last couple Blood Angel codexes, they've been putting hints that Sanguinus is coming back. They keep kind of referring to Sanguinus.
You can't do that, though. Saying
They can't bring him back.
I mean, that's
They can
the
bring
big...
back a clone.
But why do you want it as
something.
clone? It's, you know what I mean? That's one of the big things is certain people, like, the big deal is the fact that he sacrificed himself. That's the whole identity of the chapter, you know what I mean, is the Black Rage because of that and his ultimate sacrifice, basically.
I honestly
What if
think
he came back as like a Death Company Sanguinius?
No. The thing is, if you read the fluff on them, Sanguiner is literally a portion of his power. And he's getting stronger and stronger. And, like, the fluff for a while has been hinting that Sanguiner is going to change into Sanguinus. Like,
The Sanguinar is part of his psyche, that he just shows up, yes.
Yeah.
And
He
he does have a beacon, basically, where his body was, you know what I mean? Like, it keeps showing up in the warp.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to do a Primarch-like model that they could go all out and make gorgeous as
I mean,
as
yeah,
Sanguinus.
I mean, I'm bitching about it, but like, I would instantly buy a Sanguinius because he would be. I mean, he's literally a rock star with flowing blonde hair and angel wings, dude. You're like, yeah, that's going on the table.
I mean, I would buy that, cut it up, and put it on a Tyranid base without a doubt.
The 30K model was
stop being
fantastic.
friends. That's just,
The 30K model was absolutely fantastic for Sanguinus.
I honestly, I would not be shocked if he somehow comes back and is like the new emperor. Like just he already kind of was baby emperor for a while when
Brad,
when they all swore
Harris
ages.
meme. I need the Harris detected me.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if at some point the Emperor wakes up.
Well,
I mean, it's kind of hard when he's a skeleton.
well, no, because they actually
He can't wake up and just be an entity.
in the fluff and one of the, I don't even know if it's around anymore, but in one of, I can't remember if it was a white dwarf or just one of the codexes had it back in the day where they talk about the fact that they have the tech to actually resurrect the emperor, but they don't want to because they want him to continue to be worshipped as a god, and it's the whole thing that they base the Imperium on now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the emperor, his body's dead, but he's not dead. He's still holding back the war. He had a conversation for 3 days with Gilliman.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he's split everywhere. There's all the whole thing of what they're doing with the emperor. He could become the next god, you know what I mean? Because his psyche is literally all over the place doing a million different things right now, besides also holding back chaos and being the Astronomicon.
And having 1,000 children sacrificed to him per day.
Well, that's the thing, Andy. We are not like other shows. We are unscripted and unchained. Can't control us. Brad Chester, that man will talk about anything and everything that's related to him. And the reason why we're talking about the Emperor now, because in his mind, he is the Emperor.
There you go.
What do you mean?
Brian,
What do you mean in my mind?
Crowley's just happy to be near his idol, Brad Chester. That's why if you look at the cameras, he's underneath Brad because he always wants to look up to him.
And it's the only time he can physically actually look up to me.
If you look at the cameras, he has it angled in a way where he's standing up, where it makes it look he's always looking up to Brad. That's his thing. He loves it.
I gotta watch Brad's back.
And me, I just love shit talking my friends. So to their face, it's a great time. So.
And I'm just here because I'm old and Brad asked.
True story.
Oh, it's up to 10,000 psychers that he sacrificed to him per day.
Yeah, they're literally going, hey guys, jump in there. It's all going to be good.
We promise it's not a giant blender. It's not. It's It's really
My
nice.
favorite one was the like all the psyker children where like it's like a mass of them and it's a tour guide and the Imperial Guard person's like, and now we're gonna go to the Emperor's sacrificial chamber so that you can see what that looks like. And it says, danger only enter for the 10,000 sacrifices per day.
Hold on. Oh man. Oh, we do have to give a shout out.
The Kyle.
The
Yeah.
Kyle won his first GT, and he just came back into the game too.
Nice.
Great job. Also, our boy Jamie went undefeated at Rocky Mountain.
Rocked it
And-
out.
Yep, took second place because his OPR wasn't as high. But you know what? What a great showing. And then we also had a longtime Gentleman Gaming, now part of the DOG fam, Alex went 5-1.
And
so
he was on stream twice, 2 or 3
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 times I think.
Alex was in really good control of that game. It was going really well until the clap back in the middle. I thought he had that all day
Same.
long.
I was checking it out, and I literally stopped for a bit and came back, and I was like, no, I had to rewind to go, what happened?
One bloodletter
Also,
was on one
Shout
HP.
shout out to Bretton Weiss because he whooped Stephen Crowley's ass on the practice games in front of all
That's
our
not-
patron guys.
So,
Bro, you know what? I want to call on this
But
because
actually,
no,
Brett,
watch
it's
this.
not
No,
true.
watch.
It's not true. Bretton whooped Stephen Crowley and Brad Chester ass because they were doing a team
Okay,
against.
you know what? I'm going to tell everybody this because this is the Meta Crew Monday competitive show.
Yeah.
When you're practicing, resets, talk through. No one cares who wins a practice games, guys. It's about getting better.
ladies and gentlemen, I promise you with 100% assurity, if you ever play against me, go first, knowing that you're going to go first.
Oh,
and
yeah.
have Tom coaching you with a high damage tile list, you will destroy me every time. I guarantee.
I just coached him on his deployment zone because he literally made the same mistakes that I just got done teaching him for 2 hours before that not to do again. He made his decisions. Brad was the one going, listen, we're gonna move our model this way, and that's why he even says like Brad. So like, this like a 2v1 now. What's going on here?
And also, Brad was actually doing a really good job of helping me because he does a good aspect with competitive guard, and I was trying to help out Brenton with the guard matchup, so I appreciated his aid.
You don't have to defend yourself, Steven. Everyone knows I'm fucking with you, man.
No.
Everyone knows like, oh, good,
Check
that's
service.
talk.
Geez, could
How
you-
he gets so I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. He gets so defensive. He's like, oh, no, hold on a minute. You got to go first. Got to do this. Bro, I'm just fucking with you, man.
So also to plug something else, if you want to see Tom eat crow on Friday when he loses in the Friday night fights, please tune in.
Absolutely.
Listen, you know what?
And again, never forget to like, subscribe, check out our Patreon.
Yes,
That's a
please
glory
help us
game.
out.
Tom,
Be part of the community. So
everything
for those who don't know about too much about Patreon, the chat and our patrons, the hidden chat and our Discord, it is extremely active. It's very helpful. All our patrons in there talk about how much they've gotten from us, and we strive off of engagement with the community. We try to do as much as we can for the full community. Unfortunately, we do get a little bit more focused towards our patrons, but it's a fun time. We have a blast. Constantly change things being added that they ask for. And the newest thing we implemented, which will become a more regular thing, is we'll have a day at least once, twice, sometimes 3 times a month, where we'll just play 40K for 10 hours straight in a Patreon channel, throwing people in there, coaches helping out. And we're not just playing, we're talking about our mindset. I'm doing this because this is what I'm thinking, this is my goal, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. It's a great time. And it's a fun community to be part of. We're having a blast. And 100% of the proceeds goes to paying for Brad's food. That's not a joke. I'm being 100% serious on that. So me, Brian, Crowley, Brett, and all them, none of us take any pennies out of it. That's why we don't charge a lot. We're trying to make an amazing community and just have fun.
Guard did pull out a win this weekend.
It
They
did.
did. What was that list like, Brad?
I don't have the list up because I had the list up and then I didn't have power and then I lost that list. So I have to pull that back up.
Also, if you guys don't want to pay the Patreon monthly, I think Brad will accept ham and cheese sandwiches.
Turkey, thank
Happy
you.
Craft Cheese. Happy Craft Cheese. Turkey and cheese will actually get you personal coaching from him.
But it's got to be pepper jack cheese at that point in time.
Yeah. Can't just have the craft singles at that point.
I got a deluxe cheese.
Deluxe cheese.
Lux cheese.
Exactly. For a small payment
Crowley,
every
what
month, you
tournaments
two
you
can
guys coming
swear.
up next? Crowley, what's your next event?
I am running 2 RTTs this weekend back to back.
Nice.
Practice for a GT. So I have one on Saturday and one on Sunday.
Nice. Very nice. What are you running?
I'm running the same towel list that I'm playing into Tom.
Oh,
Because I have to beat him with Tau to prove a point. So
ain't beating me with Tau.
Brad,
but
what's your next event? Adepticon?
Adepticon. I might try to sneak in to an RTT or something before then, but it's probably going to be Adepticon because I'm going to back-to-back a few tournaments. Because I'm going to go Adepticon, and then I'm going directly Can Hammers the week after that. So
Tom, you're Adepticon, then Canhammer?
Adepticon, mine and Brad's teams at Can Hammer Team Tournament, and then the DOG Invitational.
what's the date on that?
May 6th,
May 6th.
7th, I think, or 5th and 6th. It's one of those. It's that weekend, first weekend of May. I don't know what dates are.
I'll be at that one also.
That I'm super excited about that one. Brian, I don't know if you're going to be able to go or not, but last year it was like literally my favorite event. It's a blast. It's only team members and friends of the team, and the prizes are crazy. The competition's fun. It is literally a great time, and I'm super excited for it. I'm more excited about that than I am Adepticon. I'm not even kidding.
I am looking forward because I've got this next weekend is my off weekend. Then I've got All Is Dust in Petawawa, Ontario, Canada. And then RTT that I'm running for 40K, then RTT for AOS. Then I'm running and helping with my first Marvel Crisis Protocol event.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be really fun. The week after that, I'm doing a community outreach. I'm going to an area outside of my direct local in Syracuse. I'm going to Rochester, running an RTT for those folks out there. The weekend after that, I think, is the DOG Invitational. And I'm hoping to make that. It's a hope at the moment. And then continue on.
Hey Brad, this Saturday you want to go to RTT?
Maybe. I'd have to collect a space with for me because that's what I want to play with.
It is in Ann Arbor. It's actually one of ours. I can swing down, grab you, and take you up there.
I could do that. I like where you're going. I like what's happening here.
Yeah, I'll put you in PCB. I can swing down and grab you early in the morning. We'll go up to the RTT, and then I'll drop you off. Because Ann Arbor's only like, what, 40 minutes from your house?
Yeah. Tom goes, I'll drop you off. He goes, I'm going to kick you out the door. All right, Brad, I'm slowing down. I'm going to take this turn a little fast.
Grandpa,
Go.
tuck and roll. Tuck
Just
and roll.
throws a bag of models at me. Figure it out. Not an army
that's
case,
not good for
an
Fernayam.
actual bag of models.
Listen, that's not good for Niam. Ann Arbor's 25 minutes from my house. I'm going to drive 50 minutes south to his house, pick him up, and then drive him 40 minutes north.
Look, Tom, I've been with you in the car, and after we came back from Pittsburgh, I just figured that's how you drive places. The wrong way completely, and then back it around.
He just wanted to take you on the scenic route, Brad. That was all it was. Just the scenic route.
The best part of that story is when I was making jokes with Brad. I'm like, yo, dude, Brad, oh, man, I think I went the wrong way. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I think I went the wrong way, man. As I'm joking with him, he's freaking out, and I see a sign that says, now entering West Virginia. And I was like, oops, what? I was like, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure West Virginia is not on the way home. He says, definitely not. That's south. We were supposed to go north. I'm like, yeah. We really did go the wrong way.
Fucking dying. I was so sad.
A 4-hour drove turned into 11 hours.
This is so ridiculous. Oh, shit. What are you guys, who's going to Adepticon here? Tom, you're going for singles? Are you going for singles and teams or just singles?
Just singles. Our unfortunately had 2 of our teammates drop out of the teams, and I didn't feel like rebuilding that quick. And honestly, it gives me all day Saturday to hang out the teams. So that means I get to stay up late Friday night, and I'm actually weirdly excited about that. And yeah.
I'm rocking and rolling. I will be I might get a get together. You know what? To be determined on Friday. I might do a last second DOG get together, and we'll do it freestyle hangout, similar to what we did last year at the lobby, but I want to make it a larger event this time.
Well, you barely hung out with us last year. We partied like 2 days straight at Epticon.
If you recall, Kramer basically picked me up and carried me to a room that I shouldn't have been in, or I would have continued on with the board games we were playing.
Yeah, there happened to be a Games Workshop sponsored tournament organizer event, and all of a sudden there was a Brad Chester in the room.
Yeah.
And then everyone going, "Why is Brad here?" And everybody went, "I don't know." And then I was like, "Just give him a glass of wine; he'll be fine."
Well, the best part last year, Friday night, we're talking about, was the day we had like this huge get together at DOG, and it was like a massive party, and we didn't stop. I think we stopped at 6 in the morning, and people were like, "Yo, we gotta get to our room."
But the thing is it wasn't just like a crazy like party thing. We had like multiple different board games going on. We were chatting. We had the Pete and Mike Brandt guitar hour going on. There was just a bunch of shit going. You know,
don't forget the train, Brad. Choo choo.
Yeah, we were just doing stuff. Shut up. You know what? I'm going to tell that Gulch keeps giving me shit about this. One time, literally one time, we went out for my birthday, and I may have had a few too many drinks, and I just out of nowhere just walked home from the restaurant, and no one knew where the hell I was. And I've gotten shit about that for the last, I don't know, 15 years.
It never goes away.
So real quick though, we're hitting 8 o'clock mark. That means we're gonna do an idea that Brad said earlier. We're gonna get our what'd you call that, Brad? We have to get 2 minutes. What was that again?
Around the horn.
Around the horn. We're gonna do around the horn here. Everyone gets a quick minute or two to finish up this video. Talk about. I think we do a nice recap. What we talked about today, and what we're gonna leave our people with. Start with you, Crowley.
I gotta start with me. I want to see somebody else do that. Brad needs to go first to set expectations.
Brad, you go first. Set the expectations.
I'm excited about the meta right now. I hope they don't change it. And I think that right now the meta could be maintained with kid gloves, tiny changes. If anything, we still need more frequent touches as opposed to hard touches, and we're in a good spot right now.
Mr. Horton?
I think right now the meta's in a solid spot. I'm a little scared of the Rumors of 10th edition because I don't want a hard reset. I want to see a core rules change with a terrain change and some standardized layouts, kind of like what they did with boarding action. And I would be really happy. I think that they can then update codexes a little more frequently and give those unloved armies a little bit more love.
And awesome, I like it. Crowley?
I am probably the odd man out here in that I am super looking forward to 10th edition. I love chaos, not necessarily just the faction, but the way that things happen when we have large edition changes, and it's a very exciting time. Not looking forward to the codex creep that inevitably occurs in the beginning, but you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. I'm looking forward to hopefully that GW style or a variation of GW style becomes the tournament format of terrain for the edition, which has been rumored, and I think that would be fantastic because it would make the game a little bit more digestible and have stores have a little bit easier time to be able to formulate terrain for their events. And then we have less, well, that event was a Fugazi because they had the wrong terrain. But overall, I'm happy now. I'll be happy then. Whatever happens, chaos ensues.
All right, well, that, I mean, I guess he's spoken up for two of us, so I'll keep mine short and sweet, even though I love you, Crowley, baby boy. Mine's short and sweet. First off, I want to give props back out to our guys who played in tournaments and did fantastic. So Kyle, Alex, and Jamie, good job, guys. I'm even more proud that you guys were fantastic sports and carried on the brand the way we care about most, sportsmanship over winning. At the same time, you found a way to win doing it. Very happy for you guys. Congratulations. And yeah, the last thing I'd say is we're unscripted, can't control us, and we're here to have fun. Everyone have a good night. Thank you for coming to see us again, and I'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.